Recently, after years of hard work and beating tons of extreme demons on the list, in secret for the past few weeks, Trick has finally surpassed Zoink as the #1 player on the demon list stats viewer. Since this, Zoink has only clarified that he thinks his time as the top player is finally coming to an end, literally stating, I mean, all arrows come to an end, my time of shining is over, and also has recently tweeted out that apparently he hasn't opened the game in like a month. And following this, Trick stated on Twitter, my hope is that I get to see the light of day as the best player for at least a bit, and verify another top 1 before I likely retire from top play. I've been putting everything into earning this spot, so the kind messages mean a lot. Hopefully best player 2024 this year? I'm guessing the top 1 he's speaking of is likely to be Apocalyptic Trilogy, and it's also just really nice to see Trick finally getting recognition as the best player in the game after getting absolutely robbed by Space UK with the whole fireworks situation, and I really think he deserves this, especially because the apology for the diss track seemed pretty valid. And so with Zoink and Trick stepping back from the game relatively soon, heading into the second half of 2024 and into 2025, who will be the next generation of top players in the Geometry Dash community? What will it look like, and what levels will they push the game's difficulty ceiling with? All that is to say, today we'll be exploring those possibilities. If you enjoyed today's video, please remember to like and subscribe. You can always undo it later and it helps out the channel a ton. We are currently in a subscriber race with the population of Liechtenstein, which is a European country with roughly 39,000 people, so all help is appreciated. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So who and when do we look to for the next generation of top players? First off, it's likely that Zoink is pretty much done with top play for now. Not to say that he won't do anything in the future, but he's definitely putting it on the back burner, at least it seems, especially since he just didn't open the game for basically the entire month of May. But Trick is most likely still going to be pouring a lot of attempts and effort into the next top 1, which again could be the Apocalyptic Trilogy, but it's possible he might switch over to another project, and will likely do so without CBF. The main challenge to Trick's new top 1 will most likely be Grief, as Doggy is currently working on the verification and has been making some very decent progress. Although it is possible that because Trick has been working on a lot of stuff in the background, he could have made a lot of significant progress on Apocalyptic Trilogy or any other secret project, or is currently planning to do so while Doggy works on Grief. I'm also pretty sure that no one has access to CBF right now because Geode has been dead for 2 weeks. I'm not sure if this will affect anything, it probably won't, but I figured I'd mention it regardless. While the Apocalyptic Trilogy is currently being rebalanced, if it wasn't, I do think that Trick would have a very decent shot of beating it as the new top 1 before Grief is even verified, let alone its whole drama. It would probably leave it at least not rated for quite some time. Regardless, my guess is that all of this will probably be going on for the rest of the year at most. Doggy has been making very quick progress on Grief, and my guess is that it could be verified even by the end of the summer at the earliest, but definitely by 2025. And whatever Trick is up to will probably be within a similar time frame, while new potential players that will take over after Trick will probably be also somewhat entering the spotlight throughout the rest of this year. So, well, who are those players? First off is, of course, the most obvious, Doggy, who has already made significant progress on Grief, which is miles harder than anything else that's been completed in the game, and depending on how the clicks between frames situation goes, it's possible that Doggy will have the next verified top 1 even before Trick. What's more likely is that the verification of Grief will cause a lot of controversy, meaning that whether Grief should be rated or not will be called into question and will probably be a discussion lasting several months, just like with Tidal Wave, which would buy Trick some time and would buy me a yacht, cause holy fuck, that's free view. But even all of that aside, Doggy is a very talented player without clicks between frames, which he has proven time and time again and has often been overlooked, even though he was the verifier of Slaughterhouse technically, and that was of course overshadowed by Space UK's hacked completion of it. And of course he has several other achievements within the top 5, ranging from being the first victor of Acheron to a completion of Abyss of Darkness and a completion of Silent Clubstep. He's also in the top 5 in the stats viewer, and regardless of where the CBF drama goes, Doggy will definitely be in play for quite some time as he doesn't show any signs of stopping or slowing down in the top play scene, and will hopefully finally get some much deserved recognition as one of the best players in the game, perhaps even being seen as the top player after Trick. Another contender that I'm sure a lot of you were very much expecting in this video is W Popoff. W Popoff needs no introduction, but he has the top 5, and also beat Slaughterhouse 3 times in a row, so he will definitely be adding to his list of crazy completions, maybe even verifying a top 1 heading into 2025. Something vehement, something. I can't predict between W Popoff and Doggy who would end up being the top player over the other, and it honestly doesn't make sense to do so regardless, as we would probably be speculating on stuff that would be happening over a year from now. now. And besides, they're both just extremely good players and have very different playstyles. See my W Pop-Off vs Zoink is a bad comparison video for more details. So W Pop-Off and Doggy are likely to be the top players once Zoink and Trick have sort of taken a step back. But they're not the only possibilities, and there are some players who have been often overlooked who still have some pretty good accomplishments that I will mention. First up is Thunder, who is number 4 on the stats viewer, even higher than Doggy, and while Thunder's hardest is only Abyss of Darkness, which is still in the top 5. Again, he has even more list points than even Doggy. I am by no means going to say that list points are the best measurement of how good a player is. I think they're actually usually pretty inaccurate, but nonetheless, Thunder does have the dedication to get that high on the stats viewer and could possibly be a top player in the future. Another talented player is Tanger, who is also high on the stats viewer at number 7. The reason that I mentioned him specifically is he has Tidal Wave in 2 runs, and has also completed other levels in the top 10 like Acheron and Slaughterhouse. And given that it's possible Tanger could be going for 3rd victor of Tidal Wave, which is the current top 1, I would not be surprised if Tanger was handed a verification of a new top 1. So the last player I'm going to talk about today is maybe a bit of a reach, and that is Argentina himself, Technical. Technical is mostly playing the game for fun, however, it is possible that he could continue climbing up the demon list even as the difficulty ceiling continues to rise. He stayed fairly active in the community in the past few years while at university, and is currently streaming Slaughterhouse after his recent completion of Limbo. And as time goes on, I could see Technical slowly making his way up to the top 3, and to even throw a wrench into this, if Technical started using CBF or if CBF was introduced into the main game, given his history of extremely long levels like Zodiac and Ocular Miracle, I think he could very much go for Tidal Wave. And from what I understand, Tidal Wave is a somewhat enjoyable experience that Technical might be on board with. Is this just cope because I want to see another content creator who is also a top player and a former top player come back to be the top player again after several years? Well, yeah, but I do genuinely think that this is a possibility. And of course, the addition of CBF possibly into the main game would throw an entire wrench into all of this. There could be tons of players who have maybe been circling the top place space with some top 20, top 10 completions, who could receive that boost and completely grind out the top 10 and become the next face of the community. We will probably see a lot of interesting new levels verified in the top 5, such as Silent Acropolis, Vehemence, Flame Wall, the Amethyst, the Apocalyptic Trilogy, Heliopolis, and eventually Orochi, all of which are beloved as projects by entire swaths of the community, and many of these projects as current verifiers or possible verifiers could also enter the top place space. There's really no telling who will end up being the top player after Zoink and Trick, and I'm honestly just excited to see where the community goes with the top place space with this new generation of players and a new generation of top extreme demons. I think we can all agree a lot of the upcoming projects that are most likely to be verified are much more beloved by the community than past projects that came in waves such as Abyss of Darkness and Sukupen Circles. And we're at a point now where the community is much more likely to rally together in support of a talented player who is beating the hardest challenge ever done in the community like they once did with levels like Bloodlust and Bloodbath. Trick will make his final completions and eventually step back just like Zoink, and Curse before them, and End Switch before them, and so forth. And who knows, maybe the next top player is watching this video right now. Maybe the future verifier of Eternus is watching this video with a juice box and some string cheese. So that's it for today's video. If you did enjoy, please remember to like and subscribe. Helps out the channel a ton. You'll see more content like this. If you would like to, you can join my Discord server. The link is in the description. I'm on vacation this weekend, but I think afterwards I'll probably start streaming again, at least more often than, I don't know, once every 2 years. And maybe even like start channel memberships. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, thank you all for the support and for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.